Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine. You can call me Jazz. As you can see by the title of this video, I'm going to be doing 10 tips that I utilize when I can when I'm on an airplane, traveling via airplane. I went home not too recently. I got to my terminal and realized that I hadn't been on an airplane in like 2 years. I was like thinking of all these tips. I was like, wow, I really used to do this and I just totally forgot. So I know the holidays are coming up, so this is probably the first time that people have been traveling this year because we have a worldwide crisis going on, if you know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna say the word because I know how you two be about that word, but there's a crisis.
You guys are in a crisis. I'm on my way.
I'm hoping some of these tips will help. Please keep watching. So the first one kind of goes without saying, but I'll throw it in here anyway. I personally stopped drinking liquids a couple of hours before I even get to the airport because I would just hate to be in a situation where I would have to use the bathroom on the plane. Airplane bathrooms are extremely unsanitary. And you know, they look clean on the surface because that's flight attendants' job to make it look clean, but it's truly not. And some airlines have put out statements saying that they have these new protocols to keep it clean. But the reality is that that's the flight attendant's job, and the flight attendant already has so many jobs that they can really only get in there with the Clorox wipe in between flights. And your bum deserves better, especially in this crisis. So I don't know, the airplane bathrooms give me the heebie-jeebies, okay?
Niggas give me heebie-jeebies.
So if you can just stop drinking liquids, that's not a problem. And if you do have to use the bathroom, you know, you could feel better about it in the airport bathroom because they actually have cleaning crews with cleaning supplies and mops and sponges to wipe them down. So it's definitely something you can feel better about. The next one is for when you're on the plane, or I guess when you're going through security, or I guess when you're packing. But bring 2 jackets, or a jacket and a blanket, or 2 blankets, because sometimes the airplanes can be cold, so you're going to need that first one to keep you warm, but baby, that second one serves a very vital role here. You're going to need to fold it up in a way that's most convenient for you and tuck it behind your back. Tuck it behind your back, baby, because the airplane seats, I don't know who I need to talk to, because the way that those airplane seats are shaped should be a crime. Assault against my back. It's like curved inwards, so I'm like kind of rounding backwards, or it's just very uncomfortable. But having that extra piece of material to wedge in between makes all of the difference. That is one of my biggest tips. If you take nothing else away, please bring 2 items in your personal item that you can get to quickly. And also, it's a good packing tip too, because it's one less thing that has to go on your carry-on. And I hate trying to wedge an overfilled carry-on into the overhead and your people just watching me like, you still here? And then along those same lines, I will also say bring a neck pillow. It is crazy. I'm so upset with myself because when I was packing for this last trip, me and my neck pillow were looking at each other like this. And I was like, no, I don't need it. And now I'm on the plane. I have 2 flights. Every time I'm about to go to sleep, I'm like, that could have been avoided if I had just brought the neck pillow. You don't realize how much a neck pillow does for you until you don't have a neck pillow when you usually have a neck pillow. Just bring the neck pillow. If you're looking at it, you're thinking about it, just get it. If you walk past one of the little stores in the airport and you hear the neck pillow calling to you, just grab it, okay? Another one is to download the Airlines app. Every airline has an app. It'll have your boarding pass, it'll have your seat, it'll have the terminal. If things change, you can find it all on the app. And especially now, you're going to want to have the app, because there have been plenty of times when I've been shuffling through my emails trying to find my boarding pass, trying to find a link to where I can check in, and it's just a hassle. And there have also been times where I've gotten to my terminal and realized that the terminal was changed last minute. You avoid all of those instances when you have the app, and it'll actually send you notifications too. Like, it's not even just going back to your app every once in a while to make sure things are the same. Like, it'll actually send a notification to your phone if the terminal has changed. So I really highly recommend having the app. Another one that is so important and very specific to what's going on right now, be cognizant of the material of the mask that you're choosing to wear on these flights. There was a couple of weeks ago where I had this excruciating sore throat, and I thought I had
A crisis.
thought I was gonna die. Yeah, no, it was bad. I have a friend who works at a testing site, and she was like, girl, that's your mask. Your throat is sore because you're wearing your mask. She said that when she started that job, she used to get sore throats all the time, and she would keep getting tested. Obviously, she worked at the testing site, and the test results would always come back negative. It was the mask. And 2 hours with that mask on, and I had this excruciating sore throat that lasted about a week. So that was one of my hesitations about getting on an airplane, because I'm like, I'm going to be wearing my mask on 2 flights. I'm going to be having layovers in airports, and I'm going to have to be wearing my mask the whole time. I was like, if I had this really bad sore throat from just a couple of hours wearing a mask, like, what kind of state am I going to be in, right? But I wore a different mask, and I wore it for hours, and I didn't even have not even the slightest discomfort wearing that mask. I was perfectly fine in the days after my flight landed. For presentation purposes, I know y'all probably can't see the material too well. If I can find the link, I'll link it and see if they list the materials that they used. But this is the type of mask that I was wearing that gave me a sore throat. And this isn't a sore throat from like wearing my mask multiple times. I have multiple different masks that I wash every time, you know, before I wear it again. It wasn't anything like that. Like, it was literally just the material. Okay? And then this is the mask that I used on the airplane, or at least one similar. I know, again, I have multiple of these. I want to say this feels like cotton, like it feels like pure cotton. And this gave me no issues on the plane at all. So I'll definitely put the link to this one below. You're going to have to buy it, okay? Because this is a Detroit owned brand, and we support local brands, okay? So yeah, I think that's one of my most important tips today. Okay, so now these tips are moving into like the health of the skin and the hair, because, you know, we put so much time into our hair routines. You saw my video, right? You saw my wash routine, right? 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 If you didn't, go watch it. Putting time into the skin, that's time. Okay? So we want to make sure that we still have something to show for it when we get off of the plane, right? That's why it's very important that your skincare is on tip top, skin and hair care in tip top shape before you get on the airport. If you're like me, you have 2 different routines, right? You have the one that's like an 8 or 9, maybe 10 step routine that you do 2 or 3 times a week, right? And then you have your 2 or 3 step routine that you do like every day, okay? If you're traveling via airplane, you're going to want to make sure you do that intensive skincare routine right before you get on the plane. It's basically prepping your skin for whatever is about to be thrown at you. Everybody talks about how drying airplanes are, so just preparing yourself for all of that. Another tip that I'm going to be getting to, but make sure that you have a sheet mask. If sheet masks are not a part of your skincare routine, they need to be. And that's just that. Even if you have oily skin, like non-dry skin, please put a sheet mask in there. I'm telling you, it'll make wonders of a difference. But who am I? I'm just a girl with no licensing to tell you that, but this is just a recommendation, okay? But yeah, just make sure that you do your full skincare routine. Like, just don't forget. That's just something that you have to do, okay? And then getting on the plane, or prepping to get on the plane as well, make sure you have Shea Butter, baby. Your pillow. Ooh, Shea Butter, nothing else. Not coconut oil, not cocoa butter. No, we need Shea Butter. You know why? Shea Butter is non-comedogenic. At least I think that's how I'm pronouncing it. That's definitely the word. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Non-comedogenic, which means it's not going to clog your pores. There's like a scale of 0 to 5 how likely a product is to clog your pores, 0 being not at all, and 5 being like this will absolutely clog your pores, do not even try it, right? And Shea Butter falls between like a 0 and a 1. So Shea Butter is going to work for most skin types, which is why I highly recommend it. It's not something that you have to worry about, especially if you have oily skin. Especially if you have oily skin, okay? You need to be using Shea Butter. You need to be using Shea Butter, period. But especially when it comes to getting on an airplane, because it's going to do a really great job of sealing in moisture. And when I say sealing in moisture, I'm saying that you have to have other products to put on before it. And it's going to put a nice layer on between these products and the bare world, the bare airplane air. What I recommend, this might sound like a lot, layer it. Just slather it on, okay? Like somebody can see the reflection in your skin because there's so much shea butter on there. Your mother's gonna come up to you and be like, girl, you look like a grease monkey. That's how you know you put on enough. Because by the time you get on the airplane, I promise, it's gonna look like you didn't put on any at all. I promise. If you're not gonna bring some on the plane, just put it on beforehand. But I also recommend you bring some on the plane too, just in a little container that TSA is not gonna give you a hard time about. And just to keep it on your hands, you know, if you're a loose natural, you know, put some in your hair if that works for you. If you have locks, don't do that. Don't do that. Now that we talked about hair, if you're not a shameful person, if you have no shame, put that bonnet on, baby. Put that bonnet on, baby. Put the bonnet on. If you have no shame, put the bonnet on. It's gonna do a great job of protecting your hair. You know, we put bonnets on anywhere when we're around the house or when we go to sleep. You know, you'll take a nap on the plane, just put it up. And if you do, you know, have some standards, I guess, whatever. You're like, no, I'm not about to walk around in a bonnet. That's fine too. Because what I have for you, my friend, is the greenhouse gas method of moisturizing your hair. I don't know if y'all were ever on those long, what was it called, Black Girl Long Hair forums. They had introduced me to the greenhouse method. And it's basically where you moisturize your hair with a water-based moisturizer and then you seal it in with something thicker like an oil or another thicker layer like just a moisturizer or some shea butter, for example. Basically like the lock method, but then you use a shower cap. However many shower caps you need to fit all your hair. If you saw my last video, you know I used 3. It's serious, okay? And then you tie your hair up with the scarf and then you put a bonnet on. And then you go about your day. You put a hat on, or you can wrap it up, do a turban, do a head wrap. You're protecting your hair from the airplane air, but you're also moisturizing it, you're deep conditioning it. So in this case, it's even softer, even more moisturized than it was before you got on the plane. So that's something that I really recommend. And then the last skin hair care related tip I have is to just pack that sheet mask I was telling you about. This is another instance where if we weren't in a crisis, put that sheet mask on the airplane. But don't do that right now. As soon as you get to a place where you feel safe enough to take your mask off, throw on a sheet mask, okay? It's gonna do wonders for your skin, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that, okay? Bring the sheet mask. If you're thinking about bringing the sheet mask or an extra set of pants, bring the sheet mask, okay? You probably already packed enough pants. Bring the sheet mask. And the last tip I have, take your meds, pop your pills, do what you have to do. There is no shame here. If you got a benzo RX, baby, take that benzo RX, okay? If you need a little Xanny, you need a little Klonopin, I stand with you. I see you. You're valid, okay? Take it. If you have any type of anxiety, and especially anxiety about flying, take it, and don't forget to take it, okay? It makes everything that much easier. And if you, my friend, do not have a benzo RX, you don't have that benzo script, that's okay. I see you too, and I stand with you too. You are valid too. I'm going to introduce you to CBD, okay? I could make a whole video, I could write a whole paper, MLA format, on how much I love CBD. I've seen articles saying that CBD performs in the same way and as effectively as benzos in decreasing anxiety in people with anxiety. So it gets the job done just as well. I'll link some below to a tincture, to actual flower. I've used the flower. My friends use the tincture that I'm going to put down below, and she really recommends it, and I recommend the bud for sure. And yeah, you'll be okay. Okay, so my last tip, it's kind of a bonus tip. I thought about it before I filmed the first time, but I didn't put it in my notes, therefore it did not get talked about. But it is just to get a map of your airport. You'll be surprised what type of shops, restaurants, even entertainment that they have in these airports, especially the bigger ones that get a lot of international customers. So yeah, the last time I was in the airport, I had a 3-hour layover in Hartsfield, Atlanta, and we were like, what are we gonna do all of this time? And something told me to just like see if I could find a map, and it turns out there's a Grindhouse Burgers, one of my favorite restaurants in Atlanta. There's a Grindhouse Burgers in the Atlanta Hartsfield Airport. If you don't know, I'm a foodie, so food brings me so much joy. So I was very, very eager and so happy by the time it was time to get on our next flight. But yeah, just little things like that. I know a lot of people have long layovers, especially because it is a cheaper way to fly if you get those long layovers. So just take advantage of the things that are in the airport. They're there for a reason. So yeah, that is my bonus tip. Okay, let's go back to the video. And that is it, my friends, the 10 tips that I recommend to you when you are thinking about flying this holiday season. If you like this video, please like it, comment, okay? I want to see your comments. I reply, share, let them know, and subscribe. If you want to turn on the notifications, turn on the notifications, hit the bell button while you're there, and I'll see you in the next video.